Welcome to our first meeting of 2025. Very exciting. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we are, and I know it's so interesting. I think everybody's just tired. But anyway, let's just do a little bit of a recap on what's happening with BiPM. So we have grown to 578 members, 578 plus. And we just keep growing. We're super excited about what's happening. More and more people finding out about what it is that we're doing and what our mission is. And so that's always something that we want to keep everybody apprised of. And I'm always excited to see the numbers as they grow. Of course, we have our pictures, some of our pictures coming through from the summit, and just really excited to see them going back and forth. We have a BiPM chat that we are throwing pictures on. So these are some of the ones that went up. So you see down there in the right-hand corner, we have our resident politician, and as Matt is talking to everybody. And then of course we got some great pictures of Sean and Matt and Mike. And these are this is our film crew here in the middle with me. And then of course just some really fun pictures that we've been able to take. And then this was the winning team for Trivia of the Culture down here.
Still being disputed, still being questioned.
We've been asked for a recount. A recount has been requested, but
wow, what a sore loser.
exactly, Lindsay.
Wow.
Exactly. No, you guys did great. And so that was kind of
You just
fun.
want my crown.
That's it. He wants the crown. And the great thing as I look at this group is the diversity within the group, right? So you've got there are people in the group who I know and people who I'd never met until the summit, right? And so I love that. I love the fact that we had people that came together for the summit were new people and friends. And so this picture is just a wonderful reflection of that, of the attendees for the summit. So it made me really happy. Here we had, of course, the students from Florida Memorial, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know because everybody, oh, Angela's here. Hey, Angela. So these were our students from Florida Memorial, and we were so happy to have them. They were so engaged and excited. I think they especially loved the last one, in Trivia for the Culture, when we talked about the music, because they knew almost every song. Every single song that was played, they were over there singing and having a great time. So that was a lot of fun for us too. And we mentioned that Sean mentioned that we had this great film crew. I don't know if everybody knew this or not, but the young man that was over the three, his name is 𝗀𝗲𝘁 Smith, and 𝗀𝗲𝘁 he's a senior at Florida Memorial. He has his own company already. He was referred to us by the photography journalism professor at the university, and we weren't really sure what to expect. He's a student, so when you say student, you just don't know. But I'm going to show you guys a couple of the videos that they did, and you'll be able to see the actual quality. Now I'm hoping that when I shared my screen, I shared for sound as well. I think I did. So please give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is 𝗀𝗲𝗁 Purnell and I am the Miss Junior at Florida Memorial University. Today was really amazing. The experience activities that were provided opened my eyes to some things that my peers from school at my table were going through that I wasn't aware of and how heavy they really were. So I really loved the activities that were hands-on. And it's just been an overall great experience.
Yeah. When I listened to this earlier, I thought that's what a lot of people were saying, is just that the hands-on experience. One of the things that we've learned is that we can sit through, and many of us have been to however many conferences, right? Like over the past however many years, how many conferences have you been to? And you know that a lot of the conferences are sessions where people are talking, so you gain really good information. Some of them are, facts and figures, other of them are stories, and you gain a lot of good information. but there is something that happens when you are able to do an experience that you yourself are sitting in and hands-on, you're doing it yourself. There's a learning that occurs in our minds where we don't forget it as easily as we do sometimes when it comes to the other sessions, right? So I love the fact that that Courtney said what she said about the fact that it was hands-on and they really enjoyed it. And I think we got a lot of that from several of the people that were there when they came back and reflected on what happened. This was one of my favorite interviews. As I listened to all of the interviews, this one was one of my favorite.
Well, it's been an honor to be here for the Blacks in Performance Marketing Summit, the first one. I came here with an open mind just to really respect that, you know, a lot of my friends and peers that I have grown up with in the space, Matt Tillman, Sean Reed McGee, you know, have just been, you know, kind of isolated in the sense of within their own community and ethnicity. It's wrong. And I really am so happy and grateful that they've brought an inclusive community together. And Blacks in Performance Marketing has done an exceptional job, you know, really just trying to raise awareness for basically just creating an opportunity in the marketplace, in jobs that we all trying to see more within our space. We want to see more folks of color, more folks, whether black, brown, Asian, you know. We want to support not only just the entry-level positions, but all levels, whether it's you know, management, middle management, all the way to the executive level. And coming back to today, you know, I actually love all the experiences. You know, so I've been through 4 of them already, and it's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun to just actually go through it and interact with different people. And I've learned a lot. You know, key takeaway for me is I want to spend more time below the surface, you know, really just getting in tune with my emotions and respectful of all the people that I interact with as much. I do take a lot of time to get to know the interpersonal, the relationship that needs to happen, but I want to go deeper, if that's possible. So I'm really grateful to be here. I just want to thank 𝗟𝗲𝘁'𝘀, Sean, and Matt, and the entire co-chairs of Blacks in Performance Marketing. You guys are doing an exceptional job. I want to see you take this to 1,000 members, and I'll do whatever I can to help support. My name is Joey Liner, the founder of Liner Connections. I've been in the performance marketing space for 22 years, and I'm happy to be here.
So, yeah, I'm really glad that people enjoyed what was happening. We enjoyed what was happening. I think we had a lot of fun, and I would really love to ask Sean and Matt and Chad and Myrna. Hey, Myrn, glad you're here. I would love to ask you guys to just give a couple of seconds of, that's why I didn't show your videos, because I have all of yours too, but I didn't show yours because I would love for you to just kind of give your own, you know, it doesn't have to be long, it's just a short reflection of how you felt. So I'm going to start with Matt.
Well, nothing like put me on the spot.
Yep.
You know, it's a testament to how far we've come, right? I think, you know, when I kicked it off with the story of Sean and I meeting, and Sean, we didn't even talk about this, but I think you should have gotten the picture that I sent to you from Sean Finland of the very first time that we actually got to meet each other. We've come a long way. And you're at a conference and you look around, and it's really genuinely a melting pot now, when before it wasn't at all. You know, we were somewhat territorial of our spaces. You know, Sean and EDU and me and more consumer finance. And so we stayed in our own little bubbles. And it wasn't until, you know, now when I can look out there and I see that there's just one big bubble, right? We're not in these individual ones anymore. And the sense of diversity or the amount of diversity that has taken place in the industry now, um, it's unparalleled. Like it's amazing that we were ever where we once were. And so to bring people together that have very like minds, that are thinking about this in the form of this summit, being able to expose the youth or young adults to this as well, just had a profound effect on me. And I think the words of Joy Liner, dead on. Oftentimes people don't realize what we're going through, but it's not until we can actually bring them together and have this sort of experience, not just a session of sitting down and listening, but true experiences, that they realize that there's a lot that we just don't know, and we can continue to grow together. So I think it was phenomenal.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Sean.
I wish people who did not attend, I wish that they did so they could understand what we were bringing to the table. I know that our name is extremely bold, and I was telling Mike about this, I think maybe a day or two ago. All are welcome, all are, with open arms. If people came and they saw exactly what we did in the message as far as being the best people, individuals that you can be, understanding people's weights, understanding people's worlds, knowing that you could actually have it where your transparency and the things that you like were maybe more in aligned with a gentleman or a female that doesn't look anything like you. To sit back and say, oh my gosh, well, you know what? I like the same exact things that this person does. And you would never think of that because again, so often we do it, we make judgments calls based off of how somebody looks. Again, so it opened up a lot of different things for us all. I mean, this is 4 years in the making. I am so appreciative to Mike again for opening up the door to us by far. I hope that, he feels, again, good about what we've been able to do. And again, and being able to kind of be somewhat of the kickoff to an incredible event like a Lead Generation World. It was an honor to be able to do that, to be able to have sponsors that believed in us. Again, Brad and Lindsay, thank you so much from your organizations to be able to help us kick something like this off, where I'm happy to say that we were able to pay our bill immediately and everything is good. And I think even Mike gave me a thumbs up, like, okay. Again, and we wanted to make sure that the graphics were there, the sound was there, the photographer was there. Our goal here was to make sure that this was not a ragtime show and then you go to the big Legion world. We wanted to make sure that it was just a continuation of greatness to greatness. So I'm extremely happy. And I know while we don't get a lot of people who come out to the actual, our meetings, we do get more people. The influence is still there. People have a better understanding that, what, all are welcome. And, and it's for all the positive that we do. The one thing that, there's always the underlining understanding that there are some people out there who do not want us to exist. There's always going to be somebody out there who's like, no, extremely selfish. You know what? It is my way. I don't need to think about anything or anyone else. And they're going to get feedback. So I always, sit back and say, let's make sure that we're always conscious of that. Because if everybody wanted to do good and be inclusive, guess what? There would be no reason for us to ever exist. There would be no issue. There would not be just the head nods. And again, we've kind of moved forward. But because there has been an issue, our great country was founded on some of those issues. Now, our goal here is just to make sure that we sit back and we are even better than our forefathers. How about that? How about the dream of America is one that we are looking to make sure that we truly fulfill. So, and do so in a really great way. So again, I feel really honored that we were able to pull this off. Again, the facilitators, the students, the OGs, we had a little mixture of everything. So I'm just happy. And again, and I'm thankful to everybody who participated, who was there, as well as who was able to sponsor, and looking forward to the future.
Awesome.
Can I
Mike.
just add
Mike?
on to that? I think it's somewhat important to bring up too, is that the all is welcome, and I wish people were there that could see what we talked about, what you guys talked about, because as I told you, Sean, I had a prominent CEO come up to me and go, "What's up with all this political bullshit in your agenda?" And I said, "What are you talking about, political bullshit?" And he said, "Yeah, what I mean, have you not looked at your agenda?" The guy's a complete asshole. But have you not looked at your agenda? And it's all this DE and I feel sorry for me stuff. And I said, "What are you talking?" It caught me off guard because I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And that happened on day two. And I said, I don't think you know what you're talking about, essentially. But the point is that it's really important, I think, in our messaging and our voice to talk to people about what actually happened in those four walls. And it wasn't some, you know, ongoing belabored conversations about DE and I. That's not what was about, what it is. And we'll continue to do this year after year, regardless of what assholes like that want to say. But the point I'm trying to say is that we do need to communicate. And I think the post-event messaging should be focused on really what happened in those four walls, and continue to pass the message that all are welcome, and this is not for one minority group, so I just want to sort of emphasize that a little bit when Sean and Nadal, you're thinking about the post event messaging is to really emphasize what really happened there.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
love
thank
that,
you, Mike.
Mike.
Go ahead, Mars.
I'm gonna piggyback off of him because I was thinking about that when Sean was speaking. What I've come to learn in the last year with the power of influence, again, just seeing, because I saw the trajectory of even my own platform kind of transform over the last 7 months to now. I have 80,000 followers on Instagram. I still don't even understand why that is. But what I've learned in that is the power of having a holistic approach. And I'll say what I loved about this was we were at the preface of the conference, which said a lot of things. It said, one, where you stand, Mike, in terms of this inclusion holistic approach to all is welcome. Okay, so that's one. Two, it allowed for it to be something that everyone saw an impression of it in the itinerary. Like it wasn't oh, I missed this, oh, I'm gonna catch it next year. It was prominent enough to make an impression. And what I've learned in, like I said, the last year in the power of influence is, to Mike's point, I think honing in on the experience that people experienced during the summit is poignant. And I think we need to like milk that, to the extreme, but two, the consistency of it. So I love the fact that you said like we're going to continue this on, because it's only going to be a matter of time when people will finally get the memo and join on. Because that's what it seems like. It seems like once you get to this stage where something is consistent enough, where there is a cadence and it's actually expected or anticipated, I think it opens the door for people's eyes to allow themselves to see things in a different way. So I'm all about it. I think, as a whole, I'm loving the fact that, the experience for the attendees was as powerful, as impactful as it was. I like the fact that, it brought people asking the question. Now they're inquisitive. Now they're inclined. They're like, what was that? So it's just a matter of time that it's going to become something that where it will be more holistic and an all welcoming stance on just this industry. So all in all, I thought it was great. You guys know, I wouldn't have come if I was like, and I was like all in. I even emailed Mike. I haven't even had like a debrief with you guys, like Adela and Sean and Matt and Chad. But I mean, I feel like it was a very, very, very good, experience. And I think, it's setting a stage for sure.
Yeah.
Just and Ndala, just before you take over again, I want to make sure that that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have the video as well as the photographers there. So we've got again 4+ hours of video to explain and to show the world who was not there exactly how much fun we actually had. So again, Mike, to your point, we're going to sit back and we're going to be creating these reels and these videos and posting them, and we're going to ask people to repost it and repost it so that the word gets out like, oh my God, you know what? That seemed like it was fun. Oh, you know what? I need to be involved in that. And again, across the board. So that proof of concept, as you mentioned, I think that we proved that. And now the goal here is just to grow and just make sure that people are not, prejudging. And I think the video and pictures and videos are going to send 1,000 messages across the board. So believe you me, we're going to spend the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months promoting. So kudos.
I think
Yeah.
one other thing, if I can add something. So first and foremost, the name is bold, right? And it's intentionally bold. But I think when that's all people read into, um, I think we need to reinforce the notion of diversity and inclusivity. And I think that, we need to make sure that those two words are really brought to the forefront. Because I think some of the sentiment that comes out of this right now is about this ever-changing world that we're living in. And when you have corporations that are basically shelving DEI initiatives, then I think people are looking at this and saying, well, if they're doing it, why aren't we as an industry shelving this as well? Um, you know, the importance here is that we have supporters, um, you know, of all nationalities, all cultural backgrounds that are involved. And I think that it's important that we actually get that word out in terms of being able to understand that diversity and inclusivity is really what's so important about what we're driving home at right here. It's not, Black people take over the world of lead generation. And I think that when they read Blacks in Performance Marketing, like it's bold, but it's intentionally bold. So.
Yeah. And right before, I'm going to say this right before, thank you, Matt and Sean and Mike and Myrna. Thank you for those comments. Chad, you're going to be next. But before I say that, I was just going to say this, Mike, when I heard about this one comment, it just took me right back to 2022 when I did my critical thinking session for PACE. And, critical thinking is a concept that we should all be doing. We should all be thinking critically. And there was someone at PACE who made a similar type comment about the fact that, why are we talking about critical race theory? And I hadn't said a thing at all in my session about critical race theory. I did use DEI as an example, and I talked about, as we critically think through those types of concepts, that we should at least understand what the concepts are. And that was the point that I was trying to make. And the person said, to the organizer of PACE, why are we talking about critical race theory? I think there are always going to be individuals who are uncomfortable when anything is brought up that has to do with all of this. But in reality, one of the things that we as the steering committee wanted to do for this summit was, instead of just dealing individually with those concepts, it was to deal with the umbrella of it all, which is the human to human experience. Because all of those concepts, diversity, equity, inclusion, those are all a part of how we should be managing ourselves with everyone around us, right? So in doing what we did in those 5 experiences, we're really examining self. And we're also, as we examine self, we got a little bit of what was going on around us as well. Because as we are sharing our thoughts about, the weights that we carry, then we're seeing the weights that other people carry as well. And it all just adds into this understanding each other better as human beings. So we will definitely be promoting that. Like Sean said, we will be promoting this in a way that hopefully people won't jump to certain, they may make them anyway, but we'll hope to make it very clear. Chad.
Yeah, and ditto. I just think that continuing Alexa off. I think that the finding more ways to get our allies and supporters, partners, friends, and members participating throughout the year, right? I mean, adding one more event to our calendar every month is great. We have some really good sessions and speakers, but like now, how can we be engaging? And I think just having those students there was huge. The eye-opening opportunity of seeing people, successful in what they're doing in industries I know they'd never heard of, didn't know they existed. And I think as we start to look across the organizations, both mom and pops to major corporations to marketing orgs and support groups that have the ability to intake and ingest and provide engagement for some of the people that we're able to reach. This is one city. So imagine, reaching out to students when we're at Affiliate Summit and reaching out to students at the next Lead Gen World and Contact.io, and suddenly you're just planting these seeds all across the country that collectively, right, not the founders and steering committee and Black people in BiPM, but all of us, right, collectively have the ability to begin touching and monitoring. Myrna and I were talking about just internships and bringing in, support staff, admin staff for her company that can help her grow. And one of the individuals that was at the a summit event, just in a meetup was like, I'm looking for an internship where I can learn more about digital marketing. It's like, yes, let's go. You two connect. How do we build that? And we'll look up in 3 years and see this young lady thriving in her own endeavors or in her father's company or working for one of our brands. And so I think this is where the same level of creativity that we brought to the sessions and the seminars, the sessions to make them so engaging and so thought-provoking, let's all collectively put our thinking hats on and start to focus on what can we be doing? How can we be engaging and bringing people in outside of this meeting, right? Outside of that seminar, but into our own respective organizations in a meaningful and empowering way to continue to further the growth and acceleration of bringing more people into our industry and making an impact on the minorities and all races that are marginalized and need an opportunity for growth and success.
You know what? To that point, let me just tell you, it was a young lady in the back. I think she was maybe of Indian descent who actually had it where her world was very diverse. Do you remember that, Chad? Did you talk to her? I think it was.
I did. I don't remember her name though, so I'll have to go back to the registration. But yeah, where she was showing how
But
diverse the
I
mixture was.
thought I thought her example was awesome. The fact is because we sit back and we look at our worlds and so often, pro white, pro black, whatever it might be, and like, okay, fine, what can I do to be a little bit more diverse? And you sat back and I think when you looked at her world, you were like, wow, it's almost something, hey, there's no right or wrong. It's just more about the fact, you know what, if you know that you're engaged with a little bit of everyone, it just, you know what, you're just maybe a better rounded individual. So be it. And maybe that's what you want to look for. Maybe that's not. But again, I loved all of the sessions across the board because it really spoke to who you were as an individual. No judgment, but just gave you a good feel for, recognizing what is your truth. And we keep on going from there. So we're going to find a way that within our videos that we'll be, putting together to make sure that that is expressed again across the board, so everybody can, have some fun and see that we had fun. And Mike, we haven't talked about it, but please, you let me know how much, what we need to do to, be invited again. Make sure that we, I want to make sure we make it official.
The other thing I just
No.
want to call out is that this event brought positive exposure, right? I mean, when you look at what's happening just in terms of us getting these posts out there about, the recap of the show and the engagement that we're getting, and, people are wondering, like, did I miss something, right? And I feel like that's the case. Samantha Popham is on, and Samantha is actually with Track Drive. And you know, as far as I know, this is the first time that Track Drive has been present in any of our meetings. But I get this feeling that Rich Nolan said, Samantha, you need to go join this and understand what's going on here and understand more about how we can participate and be involved. So I just wanted to acknowledge Samantha and welcome her to this conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt. And yeah, Rich forwarded me over the weekly meetings that you guys are going to be having. So if you don't mind, I'm going to be joining that. And yeah, Rich just really wants Track Drive to be a part of everything. Sean, I know we had a meeting couple months back now. So yeah, apologies. It was crazy busy for us the last few months of last year, but we're really looking to be a part of everything moving forward. So he just forwarded this over to me so that we can hop in these calls and be present here. So, yep, just keep me updated on everything.
Great.
Will
And
do.
and
Thank you
Samantha,
so
Thank you
just so
all.
you know, it's on a monthly basis, so you don't have to come here every week.
Weekly.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I knew it was monthly. I've looked at the invite.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
No problem. No
Excellent.
problem. But again,
And
I think that, you know, again, what we're doing is bringing awareness in this industry about, you know, the diversity and inclusivity that should be taking place. And I think people are grasping onto it. So while there are always, you know, it's always interesting for me because having a wife that's in politics, right? You can't always make people happy. You can't, there's no possible way to ever make everyone happy.
Exactly.
But what you can do is find that circle that you can create of people that are around you that are going to support and believe in what you're doing. And I feel confident and very comfortable in that that's what we're doing here.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. So does anyone else have anything they want to add who was at the summit? I know we have a couple of other people who were at the summit. I don't want to put you on the spot, Lindsay or Brad, but if there's something you want to add.
Yeah, you know, I think it was a lost opportunity because there was almost like a affiliate summit meat market type feel where you really got to know some people or meet some new people. I mean, everybody's paying Mike to go to this conference to meet new people, and it's such a lost opportunity that they didn't go to this where they were face to face with people for several hours getting to meet, you know, new people in the industry. I mean, if I had a suggestion, I would say maybe shuffle the tables up a little next year halfway through, so it is more of that environment where you're meeting some new people a little forced. I also love that it was on a Sunday because it kept people present and kind of I struggled to say this kindly, but I went to the Troutman event. I know you were there, Matt, and there were people in the back of the room talking while he was trying to present, and it was so rude. It drove me crazy. So I hope we get more people to the summit next year, but at the same point, I hope we get people that commit to being present and not being kind of the jerk that's talking to the neighbor in the back or clicking on their phone. Like actually be engaged and pay attention. And if it's on a Sunday, you really don't have an excuse. So anyway, I loved it, and thank you for letting us be a part of it.
Oh,
Brad, I love that comment again. The fact is mixing up the tables. Yeah, that is something that we will definitely do. People don't understand. I mean, the fact you talk about having a great intimate conversation again and learning somebody on a whole different level. We brought that. I mean, especially because again, Mike actually, when he put together all this, he had to put together all the sessions with cheers. So you have to be fortunate enough to kind of, stalk somebody to sit next to them. Here, we actually had tables where if you know what, people, I'm sure if they knew that you were there, they would have been like, oh, I'm going to sit with Brad. And guess what? Have it where there might have been 10 chairs at your table opposed to just 4 to 5. So again, great point. And you know what? And when we sit back and we do our posting, if everyone can sit back and please, we would love the comments. We would love the shares. Again, because not many people, there's only a certain amount of people who, of course, will follow Blacks in Performance Marketing on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and yada, yada. So what we're going to need to do is we need everybody to repost. Put your comments out there because guess what? Lindsay, especially now you're the queen bee. You have 20 million followers. I know it's 21 million followers. I think it was something like that. So again, whatever you can do to get the word out, we greatly appreciate it.
This is Carlin Rogers. Can anybody hear me?
yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to comment that actually finding out about this particular summit was the reason that I attended this particular convention. I usually go to LeadsCon the last 5 years or so, when I saw this particular summit, it was the impetus for me to decide to attend this particular convention. And I just wanted to thank everyone that was involved in putting it on. I was very impressed, not only with the professionalism, but also just with the depth of the material on very personal levels, and how it affected all of us interpersonally with who we connect with throughout business. And I left feeling just very, very pleased with everything, and I just wanted to give kudos to all those that were involved mainly.
Hey, Carlin, are you on cam? Because the name sounds familiar, but I know as soon as I see your face, I'm like, oh, that's Carlin. We talked.
You know what? I literally just got back in and saw something where this was happening right now, and I said, let me try to jump in. I thought I was on camera, but I don't. I clicked on here.
I know exactly who it is.
Oh, there it is.
I
thought
knew
that was
exactly who it was.
I'm probably the senior person of the group there.
I met, and this is how this works. So I love this. I met someone, oh gosh, who was doing timeshare, and I didn't even know it prior to this. I didn't know anyone buying timeshare, and he was like, "Yeah, we do timeshare." I was like, "I've got someone I've got to introduce you to." I said, "I'm going to have to go back through my information because I know I got his information somewhere." So this is what I love, right? It's not just the community building. It's like, let's do business together. Let's make money together, because that gives us more time to get together. So Carlin, we'll connect. I'll send you over my information, and I'll track down who that resource was that I can introduce you to that's selling timeshare leads. Carlin buys timeshare leads, everyone. So anyone in the space that knows or needs a home for selling timeshare, people who are trying to sell and exit their timeshares, Carlin's your guy.
All right, thanks. And I'm actually going to have to hop off because I've got a million things to catch up on. But when I saw that this was happening right now, I said, let me at least jump in there, add my little 2 cents, and mainly, hopefully more than that, an encouragement to continue moving forward and to have more of these type of events.
We are once a month on a Thursday. We'll send you the email and make sure on all the future invites. Oh, he's gone.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
It was so good. I'm so good to see Mr. Carlin, because I had the pleasure of meeting him as well. And just every time I saw him at the rest of the event, I just couldn't not smile every time I saw him. So it was great. From my perspective, I'll echo what everyone said about the depth of the material. I mean, even just reflecting back on it now is just profound. I wasn't expecting it, and I learned a lot about myself, and then friends that I knew, but did I really know them? Another part that I loved was getting a chance to connect with the students. So I'm already in touch with, I don't know if you guys remember meeting 𝗀𝗃𝘁. She's a 3rd-year psychology student.
Yep.
And yeah, she's like on student government. We got connected immediately because you just meet someone and I'm like, she is my person. And so I've been looking for an opportunity to give back in terms of mentorship. Coming from a psychology background, there's actually 2 people on my team that are so great at their job. They're customer success managers. And I think a big part of it is because they have that background and they're really able to build those relationships. So I'm looking forward to getting to know her and introducing her to potentially looking at a job in customer success.
Love it. Love that. Love that. That is amazing. I love to hear that. And they were so happy to connect with the people who were there. In fact, who was it? Was it 𝗀𝗃𝘁, or was it one of the other students who said that they had been debating what they wanted to do in business, and then one of them made a decision to do marketing? Like after this summit, they were like, I made a decision, I'm going to go ahead and do marketing. And I just thought that was
we didn't even talk about marketing. That's the best part. We didn't talk about it, but it's like, these are the people that I want to surround myself with.
Exactly. Yeah, it's probably why I keep showing up at the conferences too, because this is like these performance marketing conferences. I just love the people, so I'm having such a good time.
You know what's going to be interesting is that, and this is for everybody, that we're going to start making a relationship again, probably starting in February, with the local school that is closer to where the next conference is going to be. So these are relationships that we build over the course of probably almost a year, making sure that we connect with the dean, connect. We actually had 2 provosts from the university that attended as well, which is great. So right now we're making an impact. Again, I think that I have not shared with them that Legion World and the summit won't be in Florida for next year.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break their hearts. But again, ultimately, I'm sure once I do, it'll be like, boo, but oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
But now we're going to start building a relationship with the local schools to where the next conference is. And so the goal here is to do the same thing, but keep on getting bigger and better. We're going to have some new experiences. This is just going to, again, I'm excited. And again, we're going to keep on making sure that everybody understands what is the true impact that we're looking to do so that we can sit back and, this year we had, whatever, 75 to 100. Next year it can be doubled and tripled and kind of go from there and just be supportive. So loving that. I want to make sure that everybody looks into the chat. There is a survey that Mariano posted in here. If you can please just click onto that and make sure that you actually actually go into the survey and fill in the survey. We're looking for more and more feedback so that we can get better. Again, we don't want to sit back and think that everything was fine. And guess what? If there's some suggestions that you have, please post them. And we're going to be sharing this out there, and we'll be posting the survey out to everybody across the board. Yes, one thing that we want to make sure that we do better for next year is that, almost everybody don't leave until you fill out the survey, something to that nature. But please fill it out.
One other thing I just wanted to add on in terms of what you mentioned about the impact of the students. I'm just dropping in the chat right now one of the posts from one of the students that's floating around out there. And, I think I know, it got really deep for people in terms of the exercises, and it really hit home. And I think it touched people in very different ways, between, the emotional side of things of our weight to looking at, the diversity of the world that they live in, to really be able to visually see, how diverse it was or lack thereof. And I think it's just phenomenal, the impact. This is exactly what I believe we wanted to get out of this, and and Dala and all the work that you put into it to make these experiences what they were it's phenomenal. So, thank you.
Matt, to your point, when I saw this comment again, I was extremely touched. I'm not sure if I replied yet, but ultimately, when it comes to she was talking about the weight. Right now, if somebody's going through some kind of level of depression, and they feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders. That activity, that experience that you put them through, as far as the weight, that impacts. Right now, I'm not going to say that we saved any lives, but guess what? We have no idea what we did. That right there, the fact is the weight of making sure that people know, okay, fine, you know what? This is this, and then, oh, this person is also going through another one. Feel like they're just alone, carrying this brick or 2 bricks or 3 bricks. Oh, look at this person has a rock. There were some tables that actually had to run to other tables to get more rocks, because the weight that they felt was just so impactful. But when you sit back and you do it in an atmosphere like we did, guess what? You know what? Ultimately, if we saved a life, if we've already given direction to a student to now know, instead of them being in limbo, they now know what they want to study. Guess what? We've already done our job, in my opinion. So I'm extremely happy about it. So thank you.
Something else just came to mind real quick when you were saying that, Matt. Sean, I'm thinking through most of the time when people go to these conferences, it is usually someone speaking at them, and they're all about okay, who do I need to connect with or network with or make sure I touch base with for business? What I love about what we did as opposed to that. Because again, people probably weren't sure, to Mike's point. They probably thought it was going to be more of somebody's going to come and speak at me about DE&I, where this became a more introspective experience. And I'm putting out there words like that I think for next time we need to just put out there, like introspection, connection. But I do think, again, prefacing the conference with something like this open the doors, because again, people's lens probably were shifted and changed as they moved along the spaces throughout the conference. So I think that's even a way we can market this as well, is just, you know, if we're going to do this again and it's going to be like the preamble too, I think, you know, showcasing it as more of an introspective type of experience than a you're just going to learn about a whole bunch of D&I and why Blacks need to be part of your business thing, is gonna make it more impactful and more powerful. So
yeah, and it's a really good icebreaker too, Myrna. I mean, sitting on top of that, right? So like the people were saying that there were some people that they knew and some people that they didn't know. And then like Lindsay was saying, you know, that she met new people and now look at the connections that have been forged. And so it can also be an icebreaker. So now as you go through, and like she said, was it Carlin? She said, every time I saw him, I couldn't help but smile.
say hello. Now you're
Yeah,
feeling
because you've
that
got some,
connection. Right?
exactly. And so that's also, I think that's a really big key as well, is that it can help, like you're getting into stuff. It's right there in the session where you're actually tapping in, you're getting to know people, you're hearing even some personal stuff. Who was the lady who said when in the 𝗟𝗲𝘁'𝘀 exercise, who said, as she was putting stuff in her bag, she looked around at the people and she thought, oh, people are going to think I'm crazy because she had so
Judging.
much stuff. Yeah.
For the weight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but still people did it. And I loved watching it. Like it was a great moment.
Well, the fact that we had complete strangers opening up about some of the heaviest things going on in their lives, and they were willing to do so. I mean, that's so profound. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we said they didn't have to share something super personal. We're like,
They
just
did.
share an experience, choose one. It could have been a light one, you know, but some of them actually chose to share with people who they didn't know some heavy stuff. So that was
Tears were
good.
shed.
Yeah.
Tears were shed.
Yeah. Amazing. Had a great time. Mike,
I
thank
just
you
want to jump in
again.
real quick. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I just
That's
want to jump
okay.
in real quick
John?
and say that I did, you know, it's what you're doing, what we're doing together, and everybody part of this meeting is very impactful. I mean, I felt, you know, FOMO like never before. I kid you not. I never felt such FOMO
That's the
before.
goal.
And I had everybody, you know, turning on their phones, turning on their mics, turning on their cameras, and just making me part of that meeting and those sessions and such.
Love it.
And I've been following everybody, you know, I'm stalking everybody on Instagram and on our LinkedIn and just reposting where I can, just because I'm just so proud. I mean, we all are part of a fraternity of change agents, and there's nothing more exciting about that. You know, the messaging about diversity and inclusivity really came through, I think, this time around. And like you said, the sessions were exciting and they were new and they were fresh. I look at this, you know, just in my first screen, I see Brad there, known him for years and years, fantastic, phenomenal person. Mike, met you and some of the, you know, people that I met in some of these conferences, like Lindsay over at 𝗀𝗍𝗶𝗹. I met her, you know, through Mike's, you know, sessions and stuff. And of course, Sean being, you know, who he is, the fearless leader, Sean Tillman, Matt, I mean, Sean and Matt, and, you know, of course, you and Dala, when I saw you in San Diego and you came up and talked to me when I was there by myself and didn't know anybody yet. I was trying to make, you know, new people, and you put me in touch with all the right people. So again, this fraternity of like-minded people looking to make a difference in our communities. And then, of course, you know, doing these things through these fantastic, you know, ideas of, you know, inviting schools and bringing up the underlings, as well as the, you know, the people that are above us, and, you know, these commitments of having each other's back, I think is incredible. And it really digs deep. When I miss a meeting, or if I'm late to a meeting, I just, you know, I'm impacted by it in a way, and I want to do more, and I feel, you know, like I let the team down. So yeah, everyone is doing the right thing, and we're all part of something great. And I could say through the bottom of my heart, just by the people I've known for years that are on this phone, that if these are the people that we're reaching out to, and we're getting to be part of this organization, we're doing it right. because these are truly people of action. Everybody on this call, I like that. And I just want to add one more little thing is about the commitments of each other and the repurposing and stuff like that. My commitment this year for 2025 is to, I want to invite, at least three new people a month to the organization, introducing us the way that we can, doing 5 more posts a week about what we do, adding, comments about any one of our organizations. Brad for years with, Barbadoo. I mean, I talk about Barbadoo like it's, my second brother, So it's the commitments that I have as a whole, just to get us together in the room or to have people see us in a room. It's phenomenal. I like the ideas about tables too, by the way, on the sessions as opposed to chairs in a room. Somehow that does bring a lot more people together. I think it was phenomenal. And like I said, FOMO out the wazuli.
Good.
I'm getting with the
We
coffee. I'm
hope,
sorry.
we want people to
Yeah,
experience FOMO. So no,
it's
John, thank
phenomenal.
you.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so
John, thank you.
I
Thank
want to
you.
put that
That's
into you.
fantastic. And I'm gonna just let me just say this. One of my greatest joys, and especially because that conference where I saw you was my first time, and Mike had invited me out to that conference, and that was Sean had introduced me to Mike. It was amazing.
Mhm.
But one of my greatest joys is finding people who Sean and Matt don't know
No.
and then introducing them. There's just something about it.
Yes.
Like Sean's like, how do you know
Did
this
you not
person in
know this
Nala?
person?
And I'm like,
That is the best.
That
I'm a
is.
ditto
it's
and
amazing.
That
co-sign on
is.
that one as
I
Yes.
kid
well.
you not. I knew
Yes.
everybody,
I love
everybody
it.
except Sean
I
and,
love it.
and Tillman. I was like, how do we not know each other?
I
Like we've
love
been doing
it.
this for years.
I
It's
love it.
incredible. It's incredible. I just wanted to share that. So
Thank you,
So
John. So you know what? One of the things that before we head out, and I always want to be sensitive to everybody's time. I just want to make sure just to give one last major shout out to Mike Faree. Thank you so
yeah,
much again
Mike.
for the opportunity. Right now, guess what? It all has to start someplace. Again, by far, and so it started here with Legion World and Mike Faree. Again, so there's a special just honor that I want to sit back and equate over to you. Again, we of course we love our sponsors, but guess what? If we didn't have the platform, if we didn't have the location,
Mm.
then you know what? We wouldn't have the sponsors. The sponsors wouldn't be able to sponsor anything per se. So it starts there.
Right
Again,
on.
so thank you so much for believing in us and our organization. This is 4 years in the making. And again, in starting something where there's no blueprint, when you're starting
Mm.
something where there's not like, oh, well, this person did it this way, so I'm going to improve on it. Everything that we did from scratch. Again, across the board, when Dallas sitting back and she's putting those beads, she's sitting back with her family, putting bead by bead, making sure that we needed 20 beads here, 100 beads there. How many do we anticipate for this here? Shipping all this stuff down, going back and forth. I mean, again, making sure that we get stuff and we create banners and billboards that are good for some for this year, but most of them for multiple years to come. There's a lot of thought behind this. And so kudos to all of us, again, who are participating, but again, especially, again, Mike Faree. And I'm glad to see that, Mike, there was a couple of people that came, new people that came to Legion World because they had heard about the summit. So that brings my heart joy as well. Again, that we're helping to build up your organization. So special thank you to that.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. And with
Yeah.
that, we are looking forward to our Black History Month session next month. So we hope that everyone will come on back and see what we've got going on. And with that, Happy New Year, everybody. Mike, please take a break now. You can breathe a little bit after a successful conference. And so wishing everyone the very, very best for this year.